There are several other reasons. Zapier is a lot more expensive. For example, when I first joined the team, the bill for Zapier was almost $600. Now we only pay $99 a month. After moving everything over from Zapier, we still have some things in Zapier because there's different capabilities per tool. Integromat is a lot cheaper. There's also, let me just show you another one of just the visual of Integromat is a lot better. For example, like this is watching a Calendly event. Then it's searching in Google Spreadsheets, searching in Close, but then there's different paths that it can go down. And the visual you can see is it's just a lot easier to understand what's going on. And also with Zapier, they only allow you 3 different paths. So I have 4 paths here and I can keep adding more. You can move things around. It's so much easier to see and understand, but the pricing is better. And as I said, you can put formulas in there. So this is a good example of like the formulas I've created. So if you know, like the if statement in Excel, if this, then that, I do a lot of those. There's a lot of different things you can do. It has a little bit more of like, I'd say, developer feel and not as user-friendly initially. There's a lot more capabilities you can do with it. I recommend Integromat for those several reasons that I've explained. I can easily see how this is all working. When you're in Integromat or now Make, actually I saw some people starting to call it IntegroMake because I think that word make is just too basic because everybody uses the word make in their everyday life. So what am I going to say? Go check out Make. What do you mean? The Make automation platform. I don't know. So we'll see how their rebrand goes. But when you first get into a new scenario, you click here and then there's all the different apps that they've connected to. You'll find pretty much everything. So 95% of our automations are done with Integromat. About 5% of our automations are still done with Zapier because there's just certain things that certain softwares connect the way they've set it up. For example, Kajabi does not, I guess Integromat has not created a connection with Kajabi yet. I don't think they haven't yet. So we use Zapier for Kajabi to give people access to our products. And then there's 1 or 2 things in Close, because we're using Close CRM, Close.io. There's 1 or 2 things in there that Integromat does not have, but that Zapier does have. So it depends. You might have to use both. But for the most part, we do most of the things in Integromat, and we just have a little bit in Zapier, and it's significantly cut the cost down. Plus, there's a lot more things I can do with Integromat. For this, we would search Facebook lead ads. Then you do new lead. I wonder if my Facebook's connected. Not. Okay. You know what? I already have it connected. That's right. So you need to make the connection. You just sign into your Facebook and then you select the page that you're running ads to, select the form that you have in there, click save. And now it's going to grab that information. And so once you're here, then, just click OK. So now what this is going to do is anytime a new lead comes in. So if I run this module only, since this, as you see the lightning here, what this means is it's an instant trigger. So it's like a webhook. So when information comes in, then it runs. As opposed to, you can change it to, and certain modules, depending on what you're trying to do, you have to run at separate intervals. Depending on the plan you're on, you can run up to 1 minute. So this would be every 1 minute, it's going to run and check for new data. But if you have immediate on there, then you'd use that because then you're not using all the operations only when it comes in. The next one that you would do is, as you said, update a Google Sheet. So then we'll just add a new module, search for Google Sheets. We'll do add a row. Let me just show you again in here. So Google Sheets, here's all the options that you can do with Google Sheets. You can add a row, you can update a row, clear a row, delete a row, update specific cells, create sheets, search rows. Search rows is a good one, especially I do this one a lot before adding a new row. I might want to search for a row. So for example, here, if I were to say I already had a bunch of leads in there and leads are coming in, I wouldn't want to necessarily just keep adding new leads every time. I may want to update them. Also based on what you're using it for. For example, if I add a module in here, search rows. So then I would search the row. If the person does exist, then I will add them in. Then I will just update a row that they're in. Or if they're not on the sheet, then I can go and create a new row. So for example, we'll show this. A new lead comes in. Here we're going to search for a row. So what this is I chose the spreadsheet. I just have this tester spreadsheet. We'll use sheet 1 here. So I use to test things. And then so filter. This is going to say, I want to look up the email column. And if it equals, and there's all these different options you can do in here. You can get pretty advanced. Equals to, I would probably do equal to case insensitive, for in case some people type in all uppercases or first letter uppercase or whatever. So we got the email here. So it's looking at the email column and it's going to see here, for example, the data that's coming in, we would do for, I was asking for full name, best email, and best phone. So we'll choose this. Now what this is saying is look up to see if the email column equals this, and then we'll say, okay. So then now here's the powerful thing of, well, I mean, Zapier has it too. They call it paths, but Integromat has routers and you can do more. So I would do a router here. So it's going to search. If it finds an email, I'm going to put in a filter here. This would be, say, email exists. This is just naming it. The condition is, we'll say, row exists, because if it doesn't find an email, there's not going to be a row from here. So row exists. Other options are, accomplish the same thing. You can do email, and you can essentially do equals to, we'll do insensitive. And then we'd scroll down to the Facebook again and do best email address. So that's going to do the same thing as if, like I said, there's a couple different ways to do it. You can do this way, or it would be row exists, or you can even do total number of bundles. So what this is, in this case, you would do equal to 0. Oh, I meant email. Wait, now I'm mixing things. Hold on, row exists. No, this would be not equal to 0. There we go. You don't need all of these in here, but I'm showing these are different options you can do. This is all going to do the same thing. So then email exists, it will go up here. And in this one, actually want to use Google Sheets, I want to use update a row. So then I'll just delete. Actually, let me do this instead. A little trick here. Add a module. Because if I delete this, it'll delete the filter. So this is, the other cool thing is you can drag these around. So I want to put this over here. I just drag it in here and it auto connects it. Now I can delete this. And now now I can undo this one. Yeah. Okay, so email exists here, then you would update the row. And then in here, I'll just show you real quick. It's going to be, again, you'll choose the spreadsheet. So we're tester, and then sheet 1. Now row number, this is where you would select from this module, row number. And let me show this instead. Let's run this module only. So I want to get the data that it shows. So now we have the output here. This is the output here. So this is the information it found. When I click here, so this is a better example. I should have done this first. Now when I click here, so now we see email, and it shows the email. This is the most recent entry that was run from this one. And as I hover the mouse over here, you can see it's pulsating over here. So I know this one is grabbing it from here. If I go down here, pulsating, meaning it's over here. Also, you can look at the number 1 here, lines up with 1 here. So you know which module you're grabbing it from. Okay, so as we look here, the row number is row number 2. So row exists. If there was no email found, it'd be blank, no row number. This one is total number of bundles. So the number of bundles is 1, meaning how many rows did it find? Say you have the emails in there multiple times, 3 different times, then it would be 3 different rows, it'd be 3 different bundles. And that's why I just did not equal to 0, meaning one of them exists. This would update it here. Now, if I wanted to, you can clone this, and then I can drag it right over here. And now this one, I can do just the opposite. So I can do row does not exist. No email. And in this one, I messed that up. I'm going to add a row. So in this one, this would be, say, no email, row does not exist. And now here, what you'll do is you're coming here and you're going to pick the spreadsheet, pick the sheet, and then you just map the fields. So the name, whatever columns you set up in here, you can add whatever columns you want. That's what they're going to show up here. Also the column letters. So we would scroll down here and map the field. This would be full name would go here. The email, we'll select the email. I have last name on the sheet, but don't worry about that. And phone number. If you had other questions there, you can map all the questions there. And now when a new lead comes in, it's going to search the row. If the row exists, have it updated. So maybe maybe you have a question there and it updates whatever your use case is, update a specific row. If there's no emails found, no rows found, then it'll go down here and it'll create a new row. That's how I would set that up. I know a lot of people are asking about that. So I'm going to work on creating a course for Integromat as well, because I can see a lot of people can need help with that. So I got to get to that, which I will. I do have ideas for it. I do have plans for it. So I will create something soon. There's YouTube videos. It's not as extensive, but once you get the basics down, which this is really the basics here that I've shown, you'll be able to learn and see what you can do. And you'll just kind of learn it over time. There are in these, so there's these rows up here, or these columns up here. I'll just show you this real quick. These are also important because this is here from the modules. So the star means it's from the previous modules. But if I click on this gear icon, this is where Integromat comes in really powerful. Here's an if formula. So as you would in Excel, for example, if this equals this, then output this. If not, output this. You can do, here's the equals. This is just like your general functions, then math functions. So you can even, as I was showing earlier with this one here, I have some math functions in here. This here, if the event type is refunded, then take the amount that was refunded and multiply by 100, because from Stripe it comes in cents. So if it was $100, it comes out as 10,000. So you got to divide it by 100 to make $100, and add the negative sign, so then it's negative. So like there's a math function. You can do math. You can find the minimum, the maximum. You can round numbers. You can get the average, sum numbers up, even get a random number. Now there's text functions here. So this is, for example, if you want to find the length of how many is in the word hello, there's 5. It would output the 5. Lower, this will take everything in here and make it lower. So see how the H is now lowercase. Capitalize, you can make just the first character capitalize. Start case, this would make just the first character of each letter start. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Uppercase, make everything uppercase. So you can really get in depth on here, things you do. Time and date, you can add days, add seconds, remove days. You can format date and time certain ways. A lot of different things you can do within here, instead of having in Zapier have like a whole bunch of different time format step, date format step, number format step, all that. You can do it all within these blocks here. I know there's a lot of information. Hope that kind of helped out, or kind of gave you kind of a starting point to Integromat. Yeah, the difference in pricing is, unless Zapier's changed, I'm not really sure, but I think it's with Zapier going through one scenario. I think it's one task when it goes all the way through. I might be wrong on that. I think it's just like one task going through. With Integromat, it's and that's why, like for Zapier, you get on like, I don't know, the $29 plan, you get 1,000 operations or 1,000 tasks a month. Whereas in Integromat, for I think it's like $15, you get 10,000 operations. Because an operation is different. In Integromat, when this scenario runs, this will produce an output. This will produce an output. So that'll be one task. This will be 2 tasks. You see the number 1 here. That's how many tasks it used. So I used 1 now for testing. And then if it went down here, it would use 1 task. Down here, it uses 1. So when this scenario, it's only going to be a total of 1, 2, 3 tasks every time it runs. Or sorry, operations, not tasks. We'll use proper language. And so depending on how many other modules you add, so their pricing is different. For example, we're paying $99 a month for Integromat, and we get 150,000 operations a month. Whereas in Zapier, you can get 10,000 tasks. You're paying $100. I don't even know, but it's just their pricing is slightly different. However, if you were on the beginnings call here, I was saying that when I first joined the team, the Zapier bill was about $600 a month. And I've moved out all the automations over, probably even created more now, I would say. And we're now only paying $99 a month for Integromat.